Hello, I'm so glad you're here. This is my first ever BookTube video, and I wanted to start by joining my friend MJ's new reading event, Occult Detective October. Today I'm going to talk about the books that I plan to read for the event. But before we get started, welcome. I'm Ellis, and this is B-Roll Books. Occult detective fiction is a broad and varied subgenre. In fact, there's something for everyone in it. Even so, my picks sit largely at the periphery, but if you stick around to the end, you'll see a couple choices that are more traditional. Anyway, I'm excited to read all of them, so let's get straight into the books. Dracula is the only reread on this list, and I first read it when I was 17 years old. Fresh off of reading Salem's Lot by Stephen King, I found a copy in the clearance section of Barnes & Noble. And I started reading it one sunny afternoon, and I was instantly swept away to Transylvania with Jonathan Harker. In this, it opens up with Jonathan Harker traveling to visit Count Dracula, a charming, generous host, who over time seems to be a little bit less charming. Dracula soon moves to England, where a new reign of terror begins. I'm looking forward to reading this for Occult Detective October because it features Abraham Van Helsing, an academic turned vampire hunter who serves as a sort of prototypical occult detective. So I can't wait to read it in this beautiful Folio Society edition illustrated by Angela Barrett. And that brings us to book number 2. I've always wondered how booktubers speak so confidently about books that they haven't yet read when they do their TBR videos, and now that I'm doing my very first TBR video, I still have no idea how they do it. This is a book that I've wanted to read for a long time, and it's The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. And is it an occult detective novel? No, probably not. But it meets my criteria. It has a mystery about a supposedly haunted house, investigated by a paranormal investigator, and 4 people are tasked with spending the night there. That's about all I know. I've avoided spoilers for about 20 years with this book, and I'm not about to spoil that days before I read it by reading a detailed synopsis. So I will let you know what I think afterward. And that brings us to book number 3. Agatha Christie supposedly wrote The Pale Horse in response to the rise in popularity of Dennis Wheatley's occult detective fiction. You won't find Poirot or Marple here, but instead we get witches, seances, and a few murders. We follow historian Mark Easterbrook as he's swept up into the mystery of a murdered priest who only hours before took confession from a dying woman. Some of my favorite Christie books are standalones, and I can't wait to read this homage to occult detective fiction from the Queen of Crime herself. And that brings us to book number 4. Even in the darkest days of Occult Detective October, everyone needs a laugh. And so of all the books on this list, the one I'm most looking forward to reading is John Dies at the End. Now this is described as a kind of genre-bending mashup of horror and comedy, and it sounds ridiculous and fun. We follow 2 paranormal investigators, John and Dave, kind of slackers, and they go to a party and they unwittingly take a new drug called soy sauce, which gives them insight into another dimension. This sounds ridiculous to me too, for the record, but they start to see an occult plot unfolding. I don't know much more about it than that, but again, I can't wait to get into it. Okay, that takes care of the novels, but I promised you at the beginning that there would be a couple of picks that are a little bit more traditional occult detective fiction. The first of those is Carnacki the Ghost Finder, which I'm reading on Kindle, so I don't have a physical copy to show you. And the last book I want to mention is actually a magazine, and this is Occult Detective Magazine. And this is issue number 10, and in this, I've already read part of it. In this, MJ, let me look for it. Here we go. The one and only MJ from BookTube has an amazing article in which she goes through her experience reading the Satan Sleuth series by, I believe, Michael Avallone. And at the end, she does a little bit of reporting of her own and does an interview with the author's son, where she breaks some news about the future of the series. I highly recommend that you check this out. It's available on Amazon. That's where I got my copy. I will link it below. It's not an affiliate link. I have no idea how to do that. I just want to make it easy for everyone out there to celebrate the hard work of these talented people at Occult Detective Magazine. Okay, that about wraps it up. Thank you so much for watching. I'm glad you're here. Please say hello in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, I hope you'll come back later on in the week for my BookTube newbie tag. Until then, take care.